the Mittler Rebbe is gosh, like a Tzemach Tzedek said about this shver. That, the Tzemach Tzedek said if you cut his finger, he will bleed Hasidus, and it won't bleed blood. It'll bleed Hasidus. Because his Gashmius and his Ruchnius was completely in line, whatever that means.
Normally we say, right? Normally we say, once an neshama comes into a group, it has bones of a group.
Yeah.
You know? That's what mitzvah
we know the Mittler Rebbe has the same name as a Maggid. Actually, the Alter Rebbe told the Alter Rebbe, the Maggid told the Alter Rebbe to name the Mittler Rebbe after him. The story, the event is that the Alter Rebbe, 14 years he was married, and they only had daughters, and he was going to Alter Rebbe. He didn't have a son for 14 years, and asking for a bracha for a son. The Maggid always answered him something else. He changed the subject. The Alter Rebbe thought about it for Poland. He wouldn't be zeicher to Ben Zachar. And but then a few days before the Histalkus of the Maggid, I think he called for the Alter Rebbe to come to him. He started telling the Alter Rebbe in Yonim of a Shalom Zohar. So, and then the Maggid told him that you're going to have a son and you should name him after me. So actually, the Mittler Rebbe's name was the Alter Rebbe was told to name him after the Maggid.
How many girls did the Alter Rebbe have?
I think 4. I'm not sure. It's in Hayom in the English and the whole focus. The Mittler Rebbe was arrested and it didn't look that serious because they just picked him up, in a nice wagon. But as soon as they got to Vitebsk, they threw him into jail. Vitebsk was the regional government because Petersburg is way up in the north, very far away. So he was being tried in by the regional governor. The governor was the judge, and so they threw him in. They threw him in the jail as soon as he got to Vitebsk, and they were able to be poil on the government to let him have a minyan. They said that he says it's sakanos tefashis, and it's no guzma by the Mittler Rebbe. And
the doctors who came.
It's known that the Mittler Rebbe was Begashmias, Chulsha de Gufa. He was a very weak, sickly person, Begashmias, except when he said Chasidus, and then he had like overabundant energy, and so it's interesting that there's a Kabbalah from the Hasidim that the Mittler Rebbe was notified that he was going to be freed at Mincha time, Erev Yud Kislev, Tes Kislev. So the question is, why do we say Tachna? A lot of people don't say Tachna, and the minyan I was in this morning did not say Tachna. Today, I don't know what you did here, but
we didn't either. We have a mile.
You didn't have it. Oh, it's beautiful. So,
No one says.
Good morning.
And Mincha, of course, Mincha, no one says. But by Shacharis, like
Yes. You don't say.
Not a yurt. Oh,
Not
that's
because
a-
of the
That is
yortzeit, not because of the yortzeit, not because of the birthday, because he was notified later in the day on Tes
Okay.
Kislev
Oh.
of the Geula, that he would be freed, and then the Geula B'Poel was on Yud Kislev, like the Frierdiker Rebbe, who was notified on Yud Beis Tammuz, and Yud Gimel Tammuz he went out, so we celebrate 2 days.
Mhm.
So some people don't say Tachnun on Tes Kislev. Alpi Pashtus, I asked people about this, and I don't know if there's official reason, but it's kind of ties into the fact that Hasidim made such a big celebration about Yud Tes Kislev, and Yud Kislev was not such a big celebration. And the explanation is that the Mittler Rebbe was freed 1 year on Yud Kislev, 1 year minus a day before his Histalkus. So in the first anniversary, I'm sure that they celebrated tremendously, and when it happened, but on the first anniversary of the celebration of Yud Kislev, it was already, he just passed away the day before.
Wow.
So it what didn't, whatever. It was kind of the simcha wasn't so begully because yeah, because the Rebbe just was just nostalgic. So since it wasn't the first yortzeit, the first anniversary of the Geula, it continued down that way. That it wasn't. It was more low key. That's what somebody suggested to me.
Why Yud Kislev is why Yud Kislev is not the Megillah?
Yeah, and why and also why there's not an Indian also to say on Tes Kislev, because it's the Nistalkus, that in the first year they didn't have time to celebrate on Tes Kislev. Up on
Had
him.
all that mashka ready, What do they do?
No. Okay. Mashka keeps, it doesn't spoil. People spoil. If you drink enough mashka, you won't spoil.
You have to say the Chaim then.
I have I'm not ready.
You tell me what you get.
Okay. I'll give you a signal. So, yeah. So then we have on Yud Dalet Kislev, the Rebbe's Chasna, which the Rebbe said, this is what connects me with you. And it's an interesting thing. The Satmar Rov, Rabbiel Satmar said a very Hasidic word, a Lubavitcher word. He probably meant it in a different way. The Ungarische have a custom to say by a chasana, the shidduch zal oile yafe sein. Oile yafe means go up, right? Go up nicely, but also it's a remez to what we say in Tehillim, like emes v'yatziv v'nochin, until the yafe. The yafe is all of these things. So oile yafe zayin means that it should be oile, all of these brachas, emes v'yatziv v'nochin v'kayim, all the way up to yafe. That's the pshat.
Good.
But the Satmar Rov said that Oila also means gematria. Oila be gematria. In other words, the shidduch zol Oila Yafa should be gematria Yafa, 95. What's the significance of Yafa, 95? Gematria Yafa. So this and it says in a lot of Chumashim, the Mikras Gedolos, a lot of them have this. Each parsha, at the end of the parsha, they list the mitzvahs, and they're listed in order. So, Pruvu is mitzvah number 1, up until before Hazinu, the last mitzvah is Ksiva Sefer Torah. which is 613. It's numbered 613. Which, by the way, it says that Bereshis bara Elokim is base Rashis.
Right.
Why did Hashem create the world? For base Rashis, for two that are called Rashis. Rashis Tuvuasoi and Yidden, and Rashis Darkoi Terah. So the whole creation was for Yidden and Terah. Interesting that the first mitzvah in the Torah is Pruahu, Yidden, and the last mitzvah in the Torah is Ksiva Sefer Torah, which is Torah. So the whole Torah was, the beginning and the end is for Bishvil Yisrael and Bishvil Torah. Upon him, so the Satmar Rav said that Oila Yafa means Oila Bigamatria. Yafa, what's 95? Because the 95th mitzvah in the Torah is the Yasal Mikdash v'Shachanti b'Seicham. So that's the brach of Oila Yafa. The Shidduch should be an Indian of the Shachanti b'Seicham, which is the Indian of the Patachtainim, the Eibusher's dwelling in this world through the Shidduch, through a Chasana, through a Jewish marriage.
Right.
It's the L'chaim. I'm sorry, I forget what I was going to say. So I have to say L'chaim, maybe I'm So, the whole purpose. So yeah, somebody once came into the rabbi. I'm a snagid. I mean, a litbisher, whatever. But a misnagid, he wouldn't go to the rabbi. He was a real misnagid. And he said that the Olam has two problems. Huh? He said the Olam has two problems. Number one is the Lubavitcher Rebbe made a Farvar and a Medrash, Nisava Kodesh Baruch Lias Oidir B'Tachteim, into the whole Yesod of Yiddishkeit.
What do you call it? A what medrash?
Like a random medrash, like a.
No.
Okay.
He always started to put down. With the medrash.
And like it's a medrash that nobody knows about, and all of a sudden it's a whole Yesod of Yiddishkeit, the whole, you know.
He said in Gemara, it's a couple of mentions it in, I think.
Well, now everybody knows about it.
Mishlei, he mentions it also.
Oh, that's interesting.
Anyway.
Okay, please go on.
Yeah. So, and the second problem, the question the Elam has on the Rebbe is that he never asks anybody for their opinion. He does all the mitzvah, he makes all these great campaigns, and he never asks anybody for their. He never asked anybody for.
Why it's a misnagid.
He never asked anybody for their input, and the Rebbe said to him, "The answer to the first question is the answer to the second question." So in any case, the Gabi Chasana. Okay, so what does it mean?
Yeah,
it means that if you have a problem that Hasidus takes any Indian and says that this is like an Indian Yesodi. It's because nobody knows about it. It's because it's like a hidden medrash. Then the Rebbe doesn't need your opinion. The Rebbe doesn't need your opinion.
Right. You never heard about it, so you don't know much of it.
Anyway, so there's an Indian. It says that a person, Misha ain't lay bias ain't a ish. I've told a few people this already. I started with Hakdama that I like Vetalach. and I tell everybody my vertelach, so it's going to be a chazar for a lot of people. Anyway, so there's it says that a person, it means misha ein lebayis ein ish. The Rebbe says that ein adam, yeah, ein adam. So, well, why? Because the Eibishter wants a dir b'tachtonim, and that's nishtalshel in the neshama that a person wants a bias, a dira. So, I have a theory that this is the same union that we say that that we say that a person needs a tikkun.
Needs what?
The neshama, the nefesh Bahamas needs a tikkun, but the neshama ain't a tzrich a tikkun. The neshama didn't come down because it needs a tikkun. The neshama is fine the way it is. It's the nefesh Bahamas and the guf that needs a tikkun. So I think that this is nishtal shel in the Inyan that the noshim tikkuniyos, nashei b'nei Yisrael, are closer to the neshama, and that's why they don't need a tikkun. And therefore, if anything's wrong, it's your fault, because the neshama ain't a tzrich a tikkun, and
She's the food.
I heard that.
geez, I know that,
Okay.
but this is the other. This is another way to.
Okay.
Shivim Pamatera. Okay, this is your signal.
Okay.
What about?
Oh, babe. Daniel. Daniel.
So I noticed that he didn't sing part of a shalom. Everybody knows that part of a shalom nafshi is connected with Yud and Tes Kislev. The Rebbe explains in a Sikha in Chalach Chaf Hey that actually the Friediger Rebbe, the middle Rebbe, is more connected with Paul Shalom Nafshi than the Alter Rebbe. Why? Because why
Good.
Yeah,
Right.
because the Alter Rebbe, it's
Sure.
the Rebbe sent a letter to Mechantanai, the Rebbe Levi Yitzchak Medichev. It's printed in Beis Rebbe, in Igert's Kodesh, and the Alter Rebbe, that the Alter Rebbe says, "Keshekarisi betilim, b'posuk b'shalom nafshi." Before I started the next posuk, Yotza nafshi Yotza b'shalom, Hashem Hashalom. So that's Chassidim saying b'shalom nafshi by Yud and Tes Kislev. The Chassidim have a Kabbalah. It's not a letter from the Middle Rebbe, but Chassidim have a Kabbalah, and it's in Beis Rebbe, printed, that that the Friediger Rebbe, the same thing happened. He was reading Padam Mishalom when he was told to go to that he was free.
Talking to what?
When he was told that he was free, that they could go out of Golos, out of prison. So Padam Mishalom Nafshi is also connected to the Middle Rebbe. The Rebbe explains that it's more the Hadgosha and more begoloi by the Middle Rebbe than by the Alter Rebbe. Why? Because why did the Alter Rebbe say Padam Mishalom Nafshi? Why was he saying that kapitel? Because it's already from the Baal Shem Tov, who learned from Achia Hashiloini to say the Tehillim according to the way it's divided by the month. And Yud and Tes Kislev, Yom Yud Tes is not Kapitel Nun Hey. So why was the Alter Rebbe saying Kapitel Nun Hey? Because the Alter Rebbe, while he was in prison, was saying Tehillim B'Shufi, Tehillim in abundance, which is it's an Indian that in Be'ez HaTorah you say Tehillim B'Shufi. And so he was also saying, in addition to the Tehillim, according to the days of the month, he was also saying according to the days of the week. And Tuesday, which was the day of Yud and Tes Kislev, includes Kapitel Nun Hey. So the Alter Rebbe was saying Tehillim B'Shufi according to the days of the week. Tuesday, he was saying Padam Mishalom Nafshi. The Middle Rebbe was his Geul is Yom Yud, which starts with Kapitel Nun Hey. So it turns out that the connection to everybody of Kapitel Nun Hey, Padam Mishalom Nafshi, to the Geula by the Alter Rebbe is only in those years when Yud and Tes Kislev is on Tuesday, and only those people who say Tehillim B'Shufi. But by the Middle Rebbe, everybody says Nun Hey on Yud Kislev. It's the shear of Yom Yud. So it comes out that the connection between Padam Mishalom Nafshi and the Middle Rebbe is stronger than the connection between the Alter Rebbe and Padam Mishalom Nafshi. And the Rebbe explains why. It's not just It's not just. Everything that happens is al pi hashgacha al yaina. The middle Rebbe is in the Teichen of Baldur Shalom Nafshi more connected to everyone than Yud Tes Kislev, than the Alter Rebbe. Because the Alter Rebbe, the Rebbe says, is Chochma Shebechassidus. Pnimius Atera, Padam B'Shalom Nafshi, is the Gilui, is the Padiyah of Pnimius Atera and Chassidus Chabad from the Al Mekaterdim. It's the redemption of Chassidus Chabad. And the Alter Rebbe's, just like B'Teira B'Chlal, is revealed in a Seder. That first is revealed the Nekuda, Al Derech Teira Shebal Peh. That first Teira Shebal Peh is revealed in the Mishnah, which is Dvarim K'tsarim, Kelim in Yonim Harbe. The Mishnah is a kitzer that includes a lot of detail, but bekitzer limits. And then you have the Gemara, which is the expansion of that Nakuda into all the details of the Gemara. Likewise, the Pnimius Atera was revealed, first of all, by the Alter Rebbe, which Tanya is called Ter Shebechsav, Ter B'Shchab, L'gabe Ter Shebal Peh, is first the Nakuda and then the Beer, Ba'achova. Likewise, Teres HaChassidus was revealed first by the Alter Rebbe in a way of Chochmah, and then by the Middle Rebbe in a way of Bina. Ba'achova Zabir. Chochmah is Koyach Ma, just the Nekudas Hadover, called the Barak HaMavrik, just the, not just, it's the quintessence of the Gilui of a Seichel Chadash, and like the flash of insight, which is actually the lowest Madrega of Chochmah. And then Bina takes that Nakuda and expands it into Bina, a binyan, a whole structure, intellectual structure, with Eirach V'Rechav. You have in geometry, you have point, plane, and then three-dimensional, right? It's Chochmah, Bina, V'Das. Chochmah is Nakuda. Bina is like a blueprint, two-dimensional, but has the whole structure. And then Das is the actual implementation of the blueprint, three-dimensional. Derech Agav. There's going to be a lot of Agavs.
That's the same extent.
Chochmah ben Das? Yeah, of course. Samech Tzedek is Das. Derech Agav. In there's in Welt the science is starting to catch up with the emes of Torah. The whole theory of evolution of Darwin is being questioned in a very significant way because it's when Darwin said you go from simple to complex, and the way that is through natural selection. Whatever is al piteva helpful to the organism, that makes the organism last longer. So you have mutations, and these mutations are random, but according to Darwin, but some of them are going to be helpful for the organism, and to make it live longer, and to be able to produce offspring longer, and therefore they will be favored in the long run to move evolution towards those more favorable random traits. So, but that, because Darwin had no idea that the simple cell is so complicated. It's unbelievably complicated. A single cell organism is so complicated.
2 billion DNA.
And they didn't know about DNA.
2 billion DNA.
DNA.
Yeah.
DNA is a whole genetic code that's like a computer code, like a language. And the yesod of DNA is 4 amino acids, 4 letters. Shem Havaya.
Yeah, UK and above.
The whole basis of existence is 4.
I don't think it was proven. I know the person tried to bring that out by the spacing with DNA, but I don't know if he was successful in his idea.
Akopani. That's just whatever. But
there's 70 trillion of these cells in every person, and they all work in a fashion. Pretty awesome.
But yeah, so we're saying that. So the Rebbe says that the Alter Rebbe is the Chochma Sheba Chasidus, the Nekuda. The Alter Rebbe's Chasidus was the Nekuda, was a short Mamorim, or and the Mittler Rebbe took that Nekuda and expanded it into longer. Some of the Mittler Rebbe's Chasidus is like he said a mimer like 2 hours in the later years. So, so the Mittler Rebbe is Bina Sheba Chasidus, and that's in consonance, matching what the inyan of Pada B'Sholem Nafshi is. What is the pshat of Pada B'Sholem Nafshi? It's more connected to the Frierdiker Rebbe, to Bina, than it is to the Alter Rebbe. Their response. And why? Because what's pshat Pada B'Sholem Nafshi? So mikravli, from my battles, he redeemed me. He redeemed me from war, from my battles. So first of all, we have to understand what shalom is, and then we have to understand in shalom the different ways you could have a padiyah mikravli from the battles. So the Rebbe says there's 2 ways that a person can be redeemed from his adversaries. One is b'derech milchama, and the other is b'derech shalom. First of all, shalom implies it's not shayach shalom if there's just one opinion, if there's no opposition, there's no shalom. Because shalom means you're making peace between 2 opposing forces. And the way you can make peace between 2 opposing forces, there's 2 ways to do it. One is b'derech milchama, and the other is b'derech shalom. B'derech milchama means that you have to beat the enemy in war. You have to destroy them in war, and then you can have uh, a padia. You can be redeemed from your enemy. The other way is that the enemy turns into a oyev. This is what it says in the Yerushalmi on the pasuk ki barabim hoyu imodi, that these were ki barabim hoyu imodi. David Melech is talking about the Anshe Avshalom, who were mispalel that David should win against Avshalom. Avshalom's own army davened that David should win. That's mahapech the oyev to an oyev. That's a patia b'shalom. So you can beat the enemy by destroying the enemy in war, or you can beat the enemy by turning the enemy into a friend. And both the Alter Rebbe and the Mittler Rebbe did that. The Alter Rebbe, the Sorim that were against the Alter Rebbe were convinced by the Alter Rebbe's presentation at the trial that they shouldn't be enemies. That he's right. They agreed. That's part of Shalom Nafshi. By the Mittler Rebbe, it was even more so. Says that so they were presenting the arguments of the accuser against the Mittler Rebbe, against the Mittler Rebbe to the governor of Vitebsk, and the Mittler Rebbe came to the trial dressed in malchus, and to the point he was so covetic that they were afraid that the governor would say that he's like impersonating the king, and yet the opposition was so overwhelmed that he said Rebbe, and the Mittler Rebbe immediately said, even he admits I'm a Rebbe, and the opposition was totally confounded, and he couldn't say another. He just started stammering and saying nonsense. And the governor of Vitebsk said, "Get this idiot out of here." So he was completely turned from an oyev, which the Russians are total anti-Semitic, but he was turned from an oyev to an oyev, to the Mittler Rebbe, and he completely exonerated the Mittler Rebbe. So the oyev turned into an oyev by the Mittler Rebbe even more, and this is also connected to the fact that Chochmah and Bina are two ways to bring godliness into the world, to make shalom between the Eibusher and his Bria. By Matan Torah, it says that it was Chodesh Telisoi, B'Hamak Telisoi, the Eraisa Telisoi, V'Chodesh Telisoi. Did I say that right? Yarcha Telisoi. There's the whole theme of three by Matan Torah. Why? Because Torah was Nitna Lasais Shalom Ba'olam. The whole purpose of Torah was to make shalom. The Rambam says in Hilchos Chanukah, at the end of Hilchos Chanukah, actually we did it just recently in Yimul Prakim, in Perek Echad Liyam, that Chanukah is the Rambam paskins that if a person has only enough money for Ner Chanukah and Ner Beisoy, which means Ner Shabbos Kodesh, that Ner Shabbos Kodesh comes first. Why? Because Ner Shabbos Kodesh is for Shalom. It's Shalom bias. And Gadol Hashalom Kol HaTorah Lo Nitna Ela L'Shalom. The whole Torah was given only for Shalom. To make Lasei Shalom Ba'olam. And the Yidden are called Shulamis in the Medrash because their Inyan is to take the Torah, Lasei Shalom Ba'olam, and actually be Poyel Shalom Ba'olam, to make Shalom between the Eibishter and his world. So Torah is 3. Why is Torah 3? Because 3 is Shalom. Why is 3 Shalom? Because 1 is that Kodim Shenivra Ha'elam Ha'yahu Shmei Bilvad. The Eibishter is alone. Eibishter is by himself. There's not any 2. There's no 2. There's only 1. Such a beautiful word from the. If everybody's heard this, just stop me and I'll be bakatzer.
You have to share.
In Derech Mitzvah in Hamonas Elokus, I heard this from Rabbi Paltiel, that many years ago, that Hamonas Elokus, the Tzemach Tzedek says that it brings from the Abarbanel. The Tzemach Tzedek says Hamonas Elokus. What is Hamonas Elokus? The mitzvah of Hamonas Elokus is, like it says in Rambam, that Yesod HaYesodis, the Amon HaChochmais, that what? That Yesod HaYesodis, the Amon HaChochmais, that every mitzius is from the Motzi Rishon. So the Rebbe Tzemach Tzedek brings in Hamonas Elokus from their Barbanel. First of all, the Tzemach Tzedek is saying that this is not Emunah, this is Seichel. This is not even Chasidus. It's Chakira.
He was a hiker.
So what does it mean? What does it mean? Kol hanimtzoim lo'ihi motzo ela me'amitas himotzai. Every existence only comes from his true existence, because there's 2 kinds of existence. There's true existence, amitas himotzai, and there is untrue existence, existence that's totally on something else, on a creator, to make it exist. But amitas himotzai is existence that's intrinsic. It exists because that's what it is, not something made it. Not that something made it. It is because that's what it is. Its existence is intrinsic to itself. It's not made. It is. That's amitas himotzai. And so what Rabbi Paltiel explained is that you take any existence, let's say a stone. Is this so the Barbanel makes a chakira between Mechuyev HaMetzias and Efshei HaMetzias. That which must be Mechuyev HaMetzias, and that which doesn't have to be. It's Efshei HaMetzias. Its existence is told. It's possible. Doesn't have to be. It is, but it doesn't have to be. And there's another quality of existence that it has to be. Can't not be. So how do you tell the difference between that which can't not be and that which could not be, but it is, but could not be? It's made. Because nothing makes itself. So if it exists and it doesn't have to be, then something made it. So you look at it and you say, okay, what tells me that this, say a stone, doesn't have to be existence? Because it doesn't exist over there. Exists here, but it doesn't exist there. So therefore, if it doesn't exist there, it's easy to imagine it didn't have to exist here. Right? Logic. Therefore, it doesn't have to exist here. It does. I can see it. I can bang my head with it. But Doesn't have to exist here, so something made it exist here. So the fact that it doesn't exist there proves it doesn't have to exist here. So, okay, take this stone, what it made it exist. Let's say the Kechavim Mazolis. The Hashpor came from Kechavim Mazolis made it exist here. So let's look at the source of it. Do those Kechavim Mazolis have to exist? No. Why? Because they don't exist there. They're what they are, but they're not what they're not. Therefore, they don't have to exist either. So what made the Kechavim Mazolis? Let's say the Shivim Sorim. Go back and back and back. Each time you ask the question, does it have to exist? I don't know. Does it exist outside of itself? No. Therefore, it doesn't exist where it does. So we come to a principle that anything which has a definition, Hagbola, any kind of gvul, which a definition means a Hagbola, what it is and it's not something else. Any definition means that it doesn't have to exist because it doesn't exist outside of its parameters. And that's true by Gashmias and that's true by Ruchnias. Just take an idea. It's this idea, not that idea. Therefore, this idea didn't have to be created. So you go back and back and back until the Motzei Rishon, which is what the Rambam's lesson. The Motzei Rishon has to be, by definition, have no Hagbolas at all. No parameters. Not even the parameter of infinite. Because that's a description. And any description is a limitation. So it comes out, al pi seichel, that the source of all existence has to be infinite, not just infinite, but no Hagbolas at all, no definition at all.
Right.
So is that not definition?
No, it isn't. Tachlis hayidiyah shalei neda. The ultimate knowledge is shalei neda, which means in other words, you can understand things by understanding what it is, and you can get closer to understanding what's higher than seichel by understanding what it's not.
Why don't you say
Yeah, Yedias Hashklila. But that's Tachlis idea Sholei Neda.
So our understanding of Hashem is about what He's not.
The highest
we can't
the
say
highest
what
we
He
can
is.
go is to understand what Hashem is not.
Not.
He doesn't have any Hagbolas at all.
That's it.
Not even the Hagbola of infinite.
Infinite, right.
So that's one. The theme of Teda is three, right? Teda is Lasei Sholem. Hashem is one. The Achdus Hashem is total. No Hagbolas. There's nothing else. It's one. Two is when Hashem created the world. Now you have something else. It's not really a second thing, but it looks like it. It looks like a second thing.
You made it pretty real.
So if one is
You did a good job,
Achdus,
huh?
Achdus
You
is
did a good job. It
one.
looks pretty real.
Achdus is one, and Olam has two. What's three? Another thing? Another thing is still two. It's part of the Olam. What's three? Three is a synthesis. The synthesis between one and two. That even in Olam, it's still ain't Olam Alade. It's just that there's two days, right? It says in Shiras Chana. Chana said, it's not called Shiras Chana, I'm sorry. It's called Tfilas Chana. Chana said a tefillah after Shmuel was born. And she said, part of that tefillah, she said, Kel Deyas Hashem. And Chassidus says that, what does it mean? That there's two days. Kel Deyas Lashon Rabim. There's Das Elyon and Das Tachton. Das Elyon is that Elokus is Bepshitus, and Olam is Behischadshus. Olam is, what is this Olam? There's only Hashem. And the emes is that there is only Hashem. Das Tachtoin is the way we see it from our point of view, from the Ibrahim, is that Elam is Bepshitas, it's the world, but Elkus, it's B'chachus. It's for us. It's hard to understand what Elkus is. That's the Kel Deus Hashem. There's two Deus, which, by the way, is a way to connect the beginning of Rambam with the end of the Rambam. Why? Because the beginning of the Rambam is Kol Hanimtzoim Lehi Motzoi Elamitas Himotzoi. There's an Indian of Amitas Himotzoi, which is Das Elyon. At the end of Rambam, of Yad HaChazaka, it says that Mola Aretz Deya es Hashem, which the Pashtus, it means the knowledge of Hashem will fill the world. But you could also, and somebody showed me that in a mimer, I don't remember which mimer it is, that actually one of the Rebbeim or Maram is this Inyan, that when it says that Molar is Deus Hashem, it means not knowledge of Hashem. It means Hashem's point of view. Das Elyon. The world we will fill with Deus Hashem, Das Elyon. We'll come to the realization the way Hashem sees the world. That's the way we'll see the world. Anyway, so we have one, Achdus, Pshuta. You have two, Olam. Three is the synthesization, the integration, the combination of one and two. It's a third thing. It's Shalom. Three is Shalom. The Kol Hatera Le'nitna Ela Lase Shalom Ba'Olam, and also Yidden are called Shulamis because the Eibusher created two things. He created the world Bereshis for two things that are called Reshis, Yidden and Torah. That the Yidden take the Torah and they're Megala Inyan of Shalom Ba'Olam. So what is Shalom? Part of Shalom Nafshi is really the Inyan of the B'Tachtainim, the Inyan of Megala Elokus and Eglam Hazeh, until you come to Molar's Deus Hashem, that everyone comes to the knowledge that really it's only Ein Eid Mavadeh. Pada v'shalayim Nafshi mikrabli Kiven Rabim Ayuli Mali Pada v'shalayim Nafshi mikrabli Yishma kel yadem Yishma kel yadem Hillel ben Yisrael, all my ways to crown. might latani, might latani, Yato Elohim, Toiri Yato Elohim, Toiri Chopsticks. Yeah, so the Rebbe in the Sichen Chavhei, the Rebbe says that the Middle Rebbe is more connected to Pada B'Shalom Nafshi even than the Alter Rebbe, because Bina is more the Indian of Shalom than Chachma. Chachma is a Gilim El Maila. It's basically overwhelms the Mata. But Bina takes the Mata and breaks it into a understanding of each Prat Uprat, and how each Prat Uprat is an Indian of Achdus. It is Indian of Achdus Hashem, which is Indian of Shalom, making 1 and 2 into 3. And the Rebbe goes on to say that from the Alter Rebbe Torah that he says that connects it to Parshas Vayetze. Vayetze is also Indian of Geula. Yaakov Avinu in the beginning goes into Golus. In the beginning of Vayetze, he goes into Golus in Charain Shamokain, and at the end he leaves Charain. He comes to Eretz Yisrael. Another milsa b'dichsa is at the beginning of Vayetze, Yaakov has a dream. What does he dream about? Malachim, Malachei Elikim, Olim v'Yordim on the Tzulam. He dreams about angels. At the end of Parshas Vayetze, before he leaves Haran, he has another dream. What does he dream about? Hatudim ha'olim al-hatoin. He dreams about how the male sheep are being brought from Lavan's flock over, flying through the air. Okay, not flying through the air, being brought to Yaakov's flock in order that they should mate with the weak females that were only Lavan, that were only white. There was no colorations at all, not akudim and brudim and akudim and nukudim and brudim. So the Abisha made it so, right? The sheep will come over and give Yaakov sheep that he could keep as his own because all the white sheep belonged to Lavan. So it turns so in the beginning he dreamed about Malachim, and the end he dreamed about sheep mating. And this is what the Malach said to Yaakov, Reya Ani, I see what kind of effect Lavan had on you. First you're dreaming about Malachim, now you're dreaming about sheep, behemoths. So the Indian of Podah B'Shalom Nafshi, Podah B'Shalom is also in the is reflected in the parsha, like it says from the famous Torah from the Shalah, that all the Inyoni Hashana are Murumas in the parsha. So Vayetze is usually Yud Kislev, it falls out in Parshas Vayetze. Sometimes in Parshas Vayetze Atzmo, on Shabbos itself. And so this is the remez for the Geula of the Mittel Rebbe, and the Geula of Yaakov going from Chutz La'aretz to Eretz Yisrael, and also it goes even deeper than that, because the Eibusher told him that V'shavti b'sholem al beis avicha. B'sholem is Podah B'Shalom Nafshi, because Lavan chased after him, and he didn't have to fight with Lavan. Lavan made peace with him on his own. So this is Podah B'Shalom in the parsha. And the Alter Rebbe says in Torah Or that B'Shalom means Beis Shalom, that there's two ways you could have Podah B'Shalom. Milamayla lamata, milamata lamayla. The Alter Rebbe, whose Chachma is Podah B'Shalom milamayla lamata. The Gili or HaChachma, you can turn the Oyev, just be mavatal him lagamre with the Gili or milamayla lamata. That's the Indian of Chachma. The Indian of the Mittel Rebbe is that is the Indian of Bina, which takes the Mata and is Megala, the Indian of Achtos, in the each Indian in the Mata. So this is the Shalom Melamata Lamaila, that the Oyev, it turns into an Oyev like Lavan, like what happened with Lavan. That Lavan first there was a Gili Melamaila. The Eibusher came to Lavan and says, watch your back, buddy. Because Al Tadaber Miteva Hadra. And then after that, Lavan on his own made a bris with Yaakov, and on his own Melamata Lamaila, he made peace with Yaakov, and he made a bris with him, a bris of Shalom. So it turns out that Podah B'Shalom is more connected to the Mittel Rebbe, the Rebbe says, more connected even than to the Alter Rebbe. And so, what's the Padiyah? The Rebbe says that the Padiyah of the Mittel Rebbe was the final Kittrig was removed from revealing Hasidus Chabad. The final Kittrig should be an even bigger celebration than Yud and Tes Kislev. Like we said before, because of historical reasons, it's more subdued. But so the Rebbe asked, why did the Alter Rebbe have a Kittrig? L'chayra, the Alter Rebbe Yud and Tes Kislev, he was visited by the Baal Shem Tov and by the Maggid in the prison, and the Alter Rebbe said, why is this happening? And they said that there's a Kittrig because of the Gili of Pnimis HaTorah. Should I stop? No. After you go, you're going to go out, and after you go out, you should be made Pnimis HaTorah even more. So the Rebbe asks, there was already a Kittrig in times of the Baal Shem Tov. And it was the Alter Rebbe who took away the Kittrig. What was the Kittrig? Who was it, Rebbe? Aaron Karlin?
No.
Huh? One of the Talmidei HaBaal Shem Tov found a piska with Hasidus rolling in the gutter. And there was a tremendous kitrug from that, from too much revelation of Pneumis Sater. And the Alter Rebbe gave the mashal of the Ben HaMelech and the central jewel on the crown of the Melech, which is Pneumis Sater. And they had to ground the jewel to save the king's son. And the king said, I don't care about my crown. I care about my son. Another derech agav. It's by a pidin abain. The kohen says, do you want your son or you want the $5? What kind of question is that? Do you want your son or you want the $5? So it's actually, he's saying to the father, are you going to, when you're raising your son, are you going to concentrate on your son's chinuch? Are you gonna concentrate on making money? What's going to be your focus? That's what he was saying. That's what the Kain says to the Avi Abain. You want your son, or you want the $5? Are you going to, make the ikar, right? The ikar is that the ikar should be the ikar. So, getting back to the point that So there was a kitrug even in times of the Alter Rebbe, and it was the Alter Rebbe who gave the mashal of the Ben HaMelech to take away the kitrug. So what was the kitrug on Yud and Tes Kislev? There goes why the kitrug on Yud and Tes Kislev was a kitrug on Chassidus HaKlalis, and because you just need a little drop of the jewel to revive the king's son, but the Chassidus Chabad is a different Indian. Chassidus Chabad is a whole shefa of Gilui of Pneumis Sater. So it was another kitrug in the times of the Alter Rebbe, and then in the times of the Mittler Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe we said is Gilui Teres Chassidus in the way of Chochmah. The Alter Rebbe, the Mittler Rebbe started the Gilui Chassidus in the way of Bina, Achova, and the Gilui of the Mittler Rebbe took away the kitrug on Chassidus Bechlal. So we owe a lot to the Mittler Rebbe. We wouldn't. I mean, so it says in the told us of the Mittler Rebbe that we mentioned before. The Mittler Rebbe had. There's a question whether he could fast because he heard the teichacha from somebody else besides the Alter Rebbe, who obviously used to lane. He heard it from somebody else because the Alter Rebbe wasn't there during the teichacha, and he became so sick. It was a whole question whether he could fast on Yom Kippur. From the teichacha to Yom Kippur, he was sick so much he might not even be able to fast because the Mittler Rebbe was very weak Megashus. So after the stalkers of the Alter Rebbe, the Misnagdim said, this guy, he's not going to be able to keep up with it. We're gonna overwhelm him. But what happened during the times of the Alter Rebbe? There was a rule that you couldn't come to Liadi unless that was your set time to come, and if you wanted to come in a different time, you had to get permission. Right? There was rules about coming to the Alter Rebbe. The Mittler Rebbe changed those rules. You can come. Whoever wants to come whenever you want. But if you come, you have to chazer Chassidus that you hear on the way, all the way back to your home in your whole travels, and back in your hometown. You have to chazer what you hear. And through that, the Mittler Rebbe strengthened Teres HaChassidus, the spread of Teres Chassidus far beyond the Alter Rebbe, which is like we said, Baba Shalom Nafshi is more negeya, bringing Hasidus to the masses is closer to the Mittel Rebbe than even to the Alter Rebbe. And so the Mittel Rebbe made us all into shluchim to say Hasidus. And of course, that's continuing ad hayom. He's the Mittel Rebbe. He's not the Frierdiker Rebbe. So we said before, I don't know if people weren't here, that the reason the Mittel Rebbe is called the Mittel Rebbe is because somebody said Frierdiker Rebbe in front of the Tzemach Tzedek, and the Tzemach Tzedek didn't like it because Mittel Rebbe, Frierdiker Rebbe implies that he was then and not now. So the Tzemach Tzedek told him they referred to the Mittel Rebbe as a Mittel Rebbe. So that means that Mittel Rebbe's inyan is that he's here now, and it's true by all the Rebbeim, they're here now. And so this inyan that the Mittel Rebbe made us into shluchim to learn Chassidus and then teach Chassidus, give over Chassidus, it's a shlichus to call echad v'echad. It's a charayas on each one of us. And we had a
Myra's upstairs.
upstairs. We had a seder in Frankel Shul for many years that is the Gabbai here. Gabbai's here. That we had a seder that we would ask somebody to say over a sicha, not big mashpiyim, not the sons of big mashpiyim. Everybody take a turn, say over a sicha on a Shabbos Farbrengen. And there's so many advantages for the person. For one, he's the shliach of the Mittel Rebbe to say Hasidus, so he's carrying out the Rotzain of the Rebbeim. And two, that when you're going to say something publicly, then you're gonna learn it much better. And not only you're gonna learn it much better, you're gonna chazer it over, and your children will see you chazering it in your house at home, and then they'll have the idea that Tate learned Hasidus. It's that somebody said the inyan isn't to teach your children that they have to learn Torah. If they don't see you learning if they don't see you learning Torah, they'll get the lesson that you have to teach your Torah. You have to teach your children that they have to learn Torah, but not that they have to learn Torah. If they see their tati learning Torah, then the hayra is that they really will learn Torah themselves. So another milah of saying something in public is that your children will see you learning it at home. And there's nothing like the children seeing you learning. And you're telling them you have to learn. There's nothing. If you just tell them they have to learn, they'll learn. They have to tell their children how to learn. So there's so many milas so it's a really wonderful thing to make a seder that you go to the people b'darchei shalom b'darchei nayam and ask people to say to chazer marmar, chazer sicha, to say over a story, whatever they can do. Everybody can do something, you have who said that they're afraid they're going to become a Baal Gaiva if they. So What did the Rebbe? Which Rebbe?
Tzibel is over there.
Tzibel is on the Rebbe. Who said that? Was it the middle Rebbe? Akaponim. What's the in and of it Tzibel? An onion is just kulai is chitzanius, peels, clippers. You take off the onion, another peel, another peel, another peel. The whole onion is nothing but peels. Kulai chitzanius, which is the worst thing you can say to somebody. A chassid is the zachitzain. Yet the Rebbe said, "A tzibel is often the variant. Better to be an onion, kulai chitzanius, but chassid is also chazan." So it's not an excuse. It's not an excuse that I don't speak in public because anybody can do it. If an idiot like me can do it, then you can do it. Everybody can do it. Should make a seder that somebody, maybe the gabbai, take on a achrayus that ask another person that they should say over a sikha and don't bite their nose off if they, that's, you have to make it not a pleasant, at least not a negative experience for the person when they first start learning how to speak in public. You're not born with the ability to speak in public, and psychologists say that a person's more afraid of speaking in public than dying. The bigger fear. It's like one of the biggest terrors of the person is to speak in public. So we have to make it not so, not so terrible. Go easy on them, help them out when they're saying it, and don't, keep a apai hargu ish. Don't twist your nose at them. Make it easy for them and encourage them, and everybody should get used to saying a Dvar Torah. It'll help you. It'll help your family. You'll be able to say a Dvar Torah about your children's bar mitzvah and from the upshurness to the bar mitzvah, to the chasana. You'll be able to say something and be able to speak and give over Hasidus, because that's the shlichus that the Mittel Rebbe gave us. Chaim.
Fine.
Reb Aaron Scottish Sheller was the Talmud of the Alter Rebbe and the Chavrusa of the Mittel Rebbe. He was 6 years older. And after the Histalkus of the Alter Rebbe, some Hasidim went to Aaron Stanishella to be their Rebbe and didn't go to the Mittel Rebbe. And so there was kind of there was like a little negativity there. I think by the times of the Tzemach Tzedek, they came back.
I think some came, my impression was they came back pretty quickly. Some accepted, some didn't accept.
So, but there's a nigun from Aaron Sala that's so heartsick, beautiful nigun.
Well, I got one sword there, but we forgot it.
So it seems like, I don't know, kind of sacrilegious to say it on Yud Kislev, because he was like, he kind of upon him. But it's a really beautiful nigun. Yeah, Chassidus. So the Friedrich Rebbe, I mean, the Middle Rebbe is why we're Chabad Chassidim today. We just learned in Hayom Yom the difference between Musar and Chakira and Chassidus. Musar is how low Gashmias is, and Chakira is how lofty godliness is, and Chassidus is Shalom, the Indian of how Ruchnius permeating Gashmias is the whole Tachlis. So there's a joke. This is not what you think it is, because another joke like this. Once a Breslever Chassid found himself in Gehenna. I don't know how it happened, but he was in Gehenna. He said, Reb Nachman, I'm in Gehenna. And Reb Nachman said to him, did you do tikkun? Did you say tikkun? He said, Rebbe, I said tikkun every day. Tikkun is a set of Tehillim. Huh? Tikkun Klali. It's a set of Tehillim that Reb Nachman delineated that it's as if you said the whole Tehillim. Rebbe, I said Tehillim every day. He pulled him out of Gehenna. And then another occasion, somehow, I don't know how, a Lubavitcher was in Gehenna. And he said, Rebbe, I'm in Gehenna. I'm in Gehenna, Rebbe. And the Rebbe said, did you do chitas? I did chitas every day. I did chitas. Religiously. The Rebbe pulled them out of Gehenna.
It's not the same joke.
You know. And then a Misnagid was in Gehenna. He found himself in Gehenna. And he called out to his Rosh Yeshiva, Rav Agoin, Rosh HaYeshiva Gadol HaGadolim. I'm in Gehenna. He says, I told you this would happen. Yeah, the Tuvia Bolton. He's I don't know, the mashpia in the yeshiva in Kfar Chabad at Balchivashia. Huh? So he was in the early years of the Mitsoyim campaign. He was, I don't know if he was in the airport or on the plane. He was going around asking everybody if they're Jewish, if they want to put on tefillin. So there was a misnagid there. So the misnagid says to him, takes him to the side. He says, Al Pidin, you have to have a guf naki for tefillin. For tefillin. What if they're shmutzig malata? You can't put a tefillin with them.
So it's not whatever has the same conscience.
Yeah.
But so that answer, he told me in America it's the only thing people bathe every day.
All right. So what Tuvia Bolton said to this misnagid is a little different. He said to him, okay, so what? We'll go together. You'll ask him if they're shmutzig malamata, and I'll ask him if they're Jewish. I'll ask him if they're Jewish, and you'll ask him if they're shmutzig malamata. So,
You were with him when he did it?
No.
How'd you know?
I heard the story. Actually, he once Farbrengen in my sukkah, in sukkahs, and I asked him if it's true story. He said, yeah, actually happened.
Yeah.
Are you schmutzig malamata? Okay. Yeah.
So that see if the conscious Maya.
Yeah.
So it's open. I've always had Shemayim and Kohen Arab and water came from. So the Rebbe explains it says this is the inyanim of knowledge that when it happened when Mashiach comes, and it says in the 6th millennium. It connects to an article that came out in the Ufaratza journal in the early years in the 70s. The Ufaratza journal. So they did a whole calculation. Because approximately it started with the Arizal 500 years ago, and they show parallels. Okay. So one of the things that the Rebbe points out in the Sefer there is that there's parallels between science and it says that if you look close to those parallels, it says whenever something high came out up above in the Torah, that's when that science thing came out. There's parallels. He says so. Basically, we're doing big things. He says there's big things happening. Teres HaChasidus is a big thing.
Okay. Mendel. That's my grandson. Hi. How long have you been there?
20 minutes?
No.
Okay, Shkoyach.
Somebody else, please. Say a few words. Be the shliach of the middle room.
You need to take a 2-minute break.
A break.
Take a 2-minute break. Huh? Take a 2-minute break.
I believe Shkoyach.
I was really here. It's shiny already.
That's it, that's all. We're waiting for you to speak. So we're waiting.